Hello, welcome to Hexproof from Ward. This is our first episode, and we felt it would be fitting to discuss our first time touching cardboard. We hope you enjoy.
I remember it like it was yesterday, back in 2011 in Halleck Hall at Ball State. We were doing some Friday Night Magic upstairs. Josh, I'd met you, I'd met Culver, and you sucked us in. You said, "Hey guys, we've got a game to play down here in the meeting room. Come join us." We were like, "We don't know what it is, but we're in." So I remember me, Dylan, Culver, David, you, and a handful of others all got together and we just started jamming games. And before we knew it, we were doing overnight games where we would go until the sun came up and then go use our breakfast meal swipes, eat our food, talk about the games that we played, and then go to bed. And usually we would do it on like a Saturday going into a Sunday or something like that. Like we weren't silly little too silly, you know.
It's
Uh,
amazing that we graduated, honestly.
And now we stay up. Well, I mean, I stay up all night for work, so it was like it was prep. It was prep for work. And I mean, you did it too.
Yeah,
So I'm sure Sam's worked all the way through the night too at some point. So
yeah,
jamming games and having fun with friends, prepped us for our lives now. And we're still doing it. And that's
yeah,
awesome.
yeah. Sam, when did you dip your toes into this addictive hobby?
I got addicted to it about 2004 when a buddy of ours gave me the first free hit of the cardboard crack. The first set of cards was just some commons and uncommons, and built a standard deck around it. And then once in 2005 came around, and then Ravnica City of Guilds came out, and I started buying fat packs just to pull as much as I could. Back when you'd get the book for that set.
You were blowing fat stacks on fat packs.
Yeah.
Uh,
Hell yeah.
do you still have those books? Just
I
like,
don't know. My brother does. I gave him everything that I had.
I think the only book that I have is Dark Ascension, which is like when we started playing was that kind of time because I remember the first like big pool that I had was a Liliana Planeswalker.
yeah, that
And
first Innistrad. Yeah, that's
yeah, I was stoked about it. I mean, I even still have her back here in a binder. And when I came back in 2020 during COVID and moved in, and I was like, "Oh man, we got to figure out something to do because we were all stuck in the house." And I was
mhm.
like, "Man, I got to see if I can find my cards." And I did. And she was in there, and a Jace was in there, and I think a Sorin was in there. Because like back in the day, I probably traded so many really good cards because I was like, man, planeswalkers are where it's at. And so I was just like trying to get as many of those as I could. So,
It's
I mean,
Dude, like I mean, right, like pretty much after we started, it went from like Innistrad to Ravnica. Like there were freaking cyclonic rifts in like the dollar rare piles. Like if we had a time machine, we could be so rich.
you guys know when you go and play uh like pre-release events and stuff like that and people just leave cards behind. I would hate to know what all cards we left behind because we were like, no, that's not what we wanted. We just want, this or that. Like I feel like I would be sick if I remembered like what cards I passed up on.
Oh, no, I would be the one grabbing those cards because I was like, I would always go gobbo mode at those things and any sort of like draft would I just feel like taking the rare and then the uncommons and what there's like just value down and then be like, oh yeah, I need to build a deck, don't I? I just goes like, very much ooh shiny, no strategy.
You're like a goblin slash squirrel.
Yes.
Goblin squirrel. It's pretty nice.
Yeah.
Sam, when did you start kicking butt at the lunch tables? Was that in high school or was that junior high?
I would say it started in high school, uh, because in band class there were people that played there and they had no frame of reference how trample worked, and it was very frustrating.
Did they know how March worked?
No,
No.
Yeah.
no,
It,
Kind of
because
lucky
I
mix.
remember.
wait. Stop, stop, stop. I'm going to stop you there. There was a banding joke right in front of you, and you said March.
Well, I didn't know if most people know what banding
For the
is.
low hanging fruit, I'm so sorry.
Eh, I don't know many people that even know what banding is, and then you should try to like describe it to people, and they're always like flustered because it's a whole paragraph of what happens.
Yeah, just I just banded with horsemanship in Rampage 3. What are you gonna do about it?
Exactly.
Right off
But
into the sunset and cry.
I remember when I had a Thorn Elemental, and it basically, when you attack, it assigns combat damage no matter what. So like even if it gets blocked, you're always doing that 7 damage. And it had trample. I gave it trample, and it's like, okay, well, no matter what, you're taking 7 just because I'm attacking you. But you're
Mhm.
also blocking, and you only have a 1/1. You're going to take 6, and it's like, oh no, no, I'm only going to take the 7 because I already blocked it. And it's like, well, that's not what trample is. Trample goes over it.
No, no, flying goes over it. Trample.
Triple goes through it.
Yeah. So
Well,
yeah,
see, that was back when I thought a Thorn Elemental was like,
the
Empire State Building when a Sapperling was so small, so it would just go over it.
yeah, it is not the like just the whole scope of Magic is a lot of fun to know that most of these epic like beings whose like Scott who their like heads are like touching the clouds, like taller than mountains, but they could be bested by seven squirrels if they work together.
Not even 7 squirrels, just one with rabies.
Yeah.
Josh, what was your first big spicy combo that you remember pulling off that you were proud of?
So the problem is starting out uh so kind of like my origins was I was a Yu-Gi-Oh convert way back in like sixth grade, and we did not know how to play Magic, so not very many combos were happening. We thought like you could just put instants and sorceries face down and then flip them up like trap cards. So like there were multiple times where we would be attacked. It was like, oh yeah, you activated my trap spell, murder, and it was just we were playing it entirely wrong. It was yeah, so I think like my first like actual like building things correctly kind of combo was whenever I picked it up like in college again. That's whenever I learned how combos worked. So I was actually like played in middle school, didn't play it all in high school. Then Culver got me back into it right before uh, college. He's a and he was actually my roommate. He got me into it, and then just in time for me to help get Nathan into it and stuff like that. So I think the first like gross combo I put together was from Innistrad. Uh, I had a Olivia Voldaren deck, and I had Sword of Cauldra attached to her, and then I could just pay the one in a red, ping something for one, and exile it, and that was kind of the combo. That was the uh, for 2 mana, anything goes away forever.
My only spicy combos that I can remember is I would attack somebody and let it then I would like be like, "Oh, do you let it die?" And then I would be like, "Haha, tragic slip." And then I would like that was my combo.
Uh, yeah,
Like
no,
it was like
tra
it's not like anything crazy, but tragic slip back in the day, I thought it was like awesome. Like I don't know if you remember, but I would just run black decks because I just thought that was funny. And
yeah, dude,
somebody
no,
something I'd murder it or things like that. So
Yeah, Tragic Slip was the just the ex machina of those study room games because it would just be like, oh man, he has the biggest thing ever, and it's gone. The game's alive still. His man, what would have even been like I'm going to have someone was a hero. They took six from that Rookthar to tragic slip him, and now we can play spells again. It's just like little moments like that.
Exactly. Sam, do you have any spicy combos you remember when you were first starting out?
My I'd say the most notable was when I had a doubling season out and I had a Phytohydra. Because Phytohydra, anytime it would receive damage, instead you get that many 1/1 counters. And I would always put Pollen Bright Wings and Pariah on there. So no matter what, he was always receiving damage, and I was always flying over everything, and then get all those Saprolings. And then if Saplings came into play, creatures I'd get 1/1 counters. Well, then doubling season was just the workhorse.
Dude, I am so excited that I pulled a doubling season during MagicCon. Like, I don't know, I kept it under wraps like after I pulled it and tried to act all cool and everything, but I am so stoked that I have my own copy of that right now. Oh, I can't wait to put it in something.
Do you know what deck you're gonna put it in?
I do not. So, I currently don't really have any. I mean,
I don't
I
think
could
I've
be a
ever.
jerk and throw it in mouthwash, my Yargle and Mutani deck, but I don't know if I want to do that. Like, it's already really silly and crazy and does some stupid stuff. So I could. I don't know. We'll see.
I don't think I've actually ever seen you play green. So, I do not associate you with the color green ever. You are like Grixis to the core. I don't know why like you being excited about a green card is like wild to me.
I think it's just because it like to me, doubling season is like one of those cool, super cool cards. So
It's a toss up. I was really excited when I pulled the Radiant Lotus, um, but during that Commander and Cocktails when I first had that box, I pulled a Mana Drain, and I thought that was going to be big news. Um, but then that Sunday, I bought a Double Masters 2022 and pulled a alternate art of Consecrated Sphinx and a Mana Vault. So I guess I have to go with that.
so you were just all over it. You're killing it
Yeah,
all over the place there.
but yeah, I pulled the Radiant Lotus, and my brother he pulled the Aether Spark. So it was all in all a good day for the family.
It's nice. I love to hear it.
Okay, I found the okay. I found the card I was most excited about.
What was
I
it?
just So, it's the overwhelming forces. This card did so much work for me during the boxing event where we built the commander decks out of the mystery boxes. It was overwhelming forces. So, destroy all creatures target opponent controls, then draw a card for each creature destroyed this way. Did so much work for me. I fell in love with that card, and I am going to be completely irresponsible with how many decks I run it in moving forward. So is more I'm more excited about a discovery of a card.
I love it. I felt that way about Full Throttle. I know that it's a newer card, but like that card is just dirty, and being able to put it in certain decks is gonna be absolutely insane.
Yeah. Attack and attack and attack again.
Yeah, especially given that if you put it in a blue deck or anything like that, you can just constantly keep putting it back into your hand and possibly chaining it.
Yep.
Yep. Game ender. I think Red was due for another just like big flashy big flashy spell. It was due for another one. Red hasn't felt this good in a while, so that's very exciting.
Speaking of colors that feel good, do you remember your first color that you were addicted to when you started playing? I know I said I was black back in the day, and I still kind of am still addicted to that color, that wedge. How about you guys?
I think the first color that I really liked was white. I enjoyed like the concept of like white weenies. Uh, like back in like when I first started, it was a Mirrodin Cat Precon was like the first actually like structured like 60 card deck that I like ran correctly. And it was just like, oh, like just little guys, slap some equipments on them and go to the races from there. Uh, like I've been convert to like a red player now. I think just like the joy of like active treason like effects. I just those are like my favorite. Love to goad. So that's where I am now. But it all started with white weenies.
So like Boros altogether. Just some.
Somewhere in there. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. What about you, Sam?
Oh, I think I fell in love with green just because I was young and all I thought was like big stompy creatures, but it took me a while to get out of that phase.
It ain't easy
You
being
know,
green.
I think there's something. I feel like even like the coldest blue player, like in their heart of hearts, still loves a big stompy creature. Like,
Yeah, I was playing the unknown event and opened a pack of the Mystery Booster 2, and I got a big green stumpy dinosaur in Japanese. And it was funny because it's just a big green 9/9 dinosaur, and so it can be in Japanese because it doesn't do anything else. It's just giant and green, and it wants to destroy stuff. And I feel like that's the fun part about green.
yeah, if you just opened a kaiju and just threw it on the board, and it just it's like, well, this sorry about your city. It's just it's not going to be there anymore.
Yeah, if I didn't have a giant stack like this high of singles that I need to sort, I would try my hardest to find it just so I could show it. But yeah, it's a good time.
Yeah, and
I miss Sunburst.
just
If
it
you
gets like
remember that.
that's like where they get like plus one for each color you use to cast it.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a fun mechanic. I feel I feel like now with like Commander and stuff they there's like a handful of like just like go-to five color commanders that would like love a Sunburst deck, but I mean just anything where you can I'm spacing the name, but like the beast that you just have as your companion, you just tap it and add Wooburg. Just feel
Oh
like
yeah,
that.
that elk.
Dude, you should just break the mold. Just run that as your commander, tap it, and like sunburst your way to victory. Because I mean, like they're all like artifacts, so they're not going to have more than one mana symbol in them. So you be your
That's
own
an idea.
hero. Be your own hero. Man,
Yourself happy
are
with
there any
do it.
mechanics from back in the day that you kind of miss, Nathan?
Uh, I don't know. It's hard for me to remember everything because they're like constantly adding more mechanics and things like that. So, uh, not really off the top of my head that I can remember right now. Anyways, I'm sure I'll remember after we're done here.
Yeah,
The
I
within the
think
group.
I they need to bring Undying back. It's just like you tried to kill me, now I'm stronger. Like just I like cards that refuse to die. I like that. And then like just sack fodder or because like black got sack fodder, green got like just big creatures that were harder to kill. Good time all around. I feel like Undying needs to make a comeback. Ironically Undying died and I'm not happy about it.
I always appreciated Shadow.
Oh yes, that's a lot of fun. They're like it's pretty they can't just say like unblockable creatures can only block unblockable creatures. So they invented shadow, so there's just like oh wars in the shadows it is a fun mechanic. I agree completely.
That would have been fun to bring back like during Innistrad Remastered and things like that. Like any of the like more Dark Ascension type sets, like it'd be sweet to see that stuff come back and have another day in the sun.
I
I
mean,
like.
like,
Oh, you're
uh,
good. You're good.
I mean, I feel like they could have done the same in Duskmore, and I think any sort of creepy mechanic, like they even had like the special art. There were different shadows in the background for certain cards. So I feel like if there was ever a set to bring back Shadow, it was Duskmorn.
Wizards miss their chance.
Yeah.
Have to do Duskmorn 2 back in action. Bring out shadows. Or or they do Universes Beyond in Green Hills and bring out Sonic, Tails, Shadow, like all of them, and just every creature that has Shadow art in it gets Shadow. That'd be sweet.
And then Sonic has there was like uh I think there was like an uncard that was like Turbo Haste, and they just need to take that out of the uncards and give that to Sonic. I feel like that's appropriate. Yeah. How
What
do you feel?
so kind of switch stuff up just a little bit. Um since we kind of already talked about it before, what kind of Universe Beyond place would you like to go to that we haven't gone to before?
I have one right off the top of the head. If we had to go Universes Beyond, I feel like Monster Hunter would be great. I feel like you get access to all these different creatures, the dragoniest dragons, the beastiest beasts, and not to mention the equipments. You would have like so many different like fun like equipments to mess around with and stuff like that. You could have like a whole set of just equipments if you really wanted to with like Monster Hunter. So I feel like that would be a natural IP to go for. It's still high fantasy. It's not going to like break the immersion as much as SpongeBob will. No disrespect to SpongeBob, but I feel like that's would be a very natural one to transition to.
You could
Well,
easily make it to where, let's say if you have a blacksmith of some sort card that is like if you kill a creature, you can either get its power and toughness or you get its abilities.
Oh, I like that.
And
That's
like you
a
make a token and you name it that like and it's an equipment and then equipment art cost is whatever its CMC was or something like that.
Ooh, that's some tasty theory crafting there. I love it.
where would you want to go, Sam?
Oh man, it's tough. One hand, I'd like to go back to Warhammer, but that's not going to happen anytime soon. Uh, two options. One, I'd like to see a full-fledged Mega Man series or a Digimon series.
Mm,
Ooh, those could both be fun. Could definitely both be fun.
And I feel like since we can get SpongeBob, we have access to all the other things.
Yeah, we just need Hasbro to buy those certain things is the only thing.
yeah. So then, Nathan, how about you? What universe would you want to be added?
Uh, I've said it before and I'll say it again. I think with all the giant mech that we got in Kamigawa, I think it wouldn't be too crazy to have Gundam join in.
Hell yeah.
Fun.
Hell yeah. I
Uh,
cannot
get
endorse this
those,
enough.
yeah, get those giant mechs in there, get some crazy pilots, get some just some dirty funness. I think it would be a great time.
Would you accept Armored Core?
Oh, that'd also be very nice.
I think anything would be fun. I mean, we just have a set with a whole bunch of driving vehicles. I think it'd be cool to have big giant
Or
stompy.
Evangelion? Or however you want it, Evangelion. That way you not only get the mech side, but you also get the anime side.
The existential crisis side.
Well, that too, but
Yeah, I always felt like there wasn't enough emotional damage in Magic, so they just need to jump right into Evangelion. Is there like kind of cycling back to kind of like some of our first, what was like one of the like first arts that really kind of like really connected with you? Like you saw that and you're like, "Oh heck yeah, I need to do something with this."
I think being in college when I first started and being uh, just kind of seeing the cool arts and stuff like that. I think like Vexing Devil and things like that were just kind of cool looking to me. Um, yeah, really, the art is what got me in this in the first place. Like, I just thought it was so cool seeing what everybody brought to the table and just being like, "Ooh, can I look at that card? Can I look at that? Can I look at?" And just being in awe of like the crazy art that all of the artists bring to this wonderful game that we play. It's just crazy that we're all walking with like little galleries in our uh like deck boxes and things, and we just kind of that's why my favorite part about going to conventions and stuff like that is meeting the artists and just saying thank you and like getting to, give them a high five for kicking butt at what they do.
Yeah, they really like breathe life into this world for like the world of Magic. So like shout out to the artists for sure. And then, hey Sam, is there a art that you remember like early on that you're like, man, that's so cool. I have to like do something with this card.
It's not art like specifically because I liked like a lot of cards, but I think the one thing that always caught my attention was Izet collars because somehow, out of all color combinations, red, blue, weirds, illusions always just popped for no
Yeah,
reason whatsoever, and it worked.
yeah. As like, I think there's like high fantasy and stuff. For me, like it was always like the angel cards. Like I thought angels were just like six. Like white was like the first color that kind of got me into Magic. So just like I like all the detail and armor and like the wings and the feathers that like a Chroma Angel of Wrath was just like I remember like whenever I traded for my first one of those and I had it and I was like it was like my holy grail card. So that was just like it has all the keywords. It's super strong. You can't murder it. Protection for black. Look, it was just like that was like that first card for me.
So if you could, your Magic playing self now could talk to your Magic playing self like when you first started, what do you think would blow the mind of your younger self playing Magic that you could be like, oh yeah, no, that's happening now? Like, or, places that you've gone or things that you've done just from playing Magic.
So I think the first thing I actually have kind of like a real world reaction getting because I was took such a long hiatus from Magic from like quitting when I was like 13 to picking it up again as like in college at like 19 was whenever I was getting back into it I was like, hey, what's different about Magic now? And they're like, oh, there's planeswalkers. And I thought it was like literally like creatures with planes walk. And I was like, wow, they're everyone just bullying anyone who brings the planes to the table now. And then it was like, oh no, it's like its own type of card, Planeswalker. I still feel like if I just explaining the concept of a Planeswalker to like 12-year-old Josh would just like blow his mind. And then as far as like the meta now, I just feel like how pushed like creatures are these days from uh like uh Savannah Lion was a rare when I started is a 2/1 for one and now it's uncommon in foundations. It's just kind of like just the whole how much stronger creatures are. How about you, Sam?
If I could have that conversation with my younger self, it would be to not wish for more sets to come out each year. Because my younger self got that wish, and I feel like it's been the undoing of us all.
Really, you feel a little monkey's pawed there?
Yep. Because it was like, oh, well, this set just came out. We have to wait until oh, later this year to get another one, and now it's like, hey, we just had a new set come out. Well, hey, guess what? In about a month or so, you're getting another one.
Oh, and then you're getting spoilers for the ones three sets away.
Yeah.
So, how about you, Nathan?
I think the whole universes beyond thing would probably uh blow my mind. That and Secret Lair, like the fact that you can play with like Walking Dead people, just because like we watched that in college and like being able to turn cardboard and being like, nope, I'm gonna hit you with Negan, or
Yeah.
just that kind of stuff is crazy. Or you know, Ash versus Evil Dead, like all that kind of stuff is just crazy to me. And uh it's cool, but like Sam, I think we kind of we got to be careful what we wish for because we're kind of getting that a little of that Marvel fatigue where it was like
Yeah.
so many movies coming out at once. Like, oh, did you watch that one? No, I just watched this one, so I kind of am taking a break. I think that's what's kind of gonna push us out. But uh,
I did have another topic idea as far as like first go and like talking back going back to our embryo selves about like the change in your style as a player, like your development as a player from where you started to where you are now. Like what are some of the biggest changes as far as like decks that you build and uh like where you are now versus where you were then?
I think back in the day, I was just like more interested in winning every single time and like not just spending time with friends and seeing what decks did. And so now I just kind of like let the table marinate and see what everybody's doing and bringing to the table. And for the most part, I could care less if I win. It's one thing if like everything that I try and do gets like shut down and thrown straight into the trash, because then you just feel like you're like, why am I sitting here at this table? But I think it's fun like seeing random stuff pop off that you've never seen before.
Well, yeah, random stuff, but I think the one thing that always needs to be done is time management. Like
Yeah.
everyone wants to have a fun time, but we didn't want to have to sit and wait 10, 15 minutes for someone's turn to go and they can like, oh, you had a whole rotation turn cycle to figure out what you wanted to do.
Yeah,
That's
but
just
you
me.
also have to pay attention to what's happening like as it progresses to get to your turn because you have to think about what's in your hand and then somebody could do something else and you're already thinking that you want to do this and you're like, well, now I can't do this. So sometimes you can't help it.
Oh yeah, it's not sometimes, but the habitual offenders.
Yep. So
You also have to
that's
be careful of people that are new to the game too.
Well, yeah.
yeah, I think I'm one to be a arch enemy early. I will turn my 1/1 sideways and take that first pristine 40 life down to 39. I'll be the one who will break that ice every time. Uh Even if I'm in like in a blue control deck or something like that, like the loot Burfolk is still gonna slap you for one at some point. I don't know, just the red player in me can't let cards not go sideways at some point.
Thanks so much for listening to this week's episode of Hexproof and Ward. We can't wait to have you back next week. See ya.